All right, guys. I guess we this is the beginning of the end of the Hasan Ethan arc. All right, we that's where we are. It's coming to a close, and what that means is that there's going to be a new opening for Ethan's podcast with another individual. First, it was Trisha Paytas, then it was Hasan Piker. Me personally, you know, it's time to vote on who the third person should be. Okay, some people are saying Papa Gut. Anyway, I'm curious about what is going on. This is his response to his like capitalism conversation that he had with Dan and everybody. So let's see what we got here.
Yeah, obviously Friday was kind of crazy. I'm going to talk about it. I don't know if I should talk about it tomorrow on Thursday because I want to talk with Hasan and Dan about it. I have more questions.
Did Hasan say that he'd be open to the conversation or no?
I have a thirst for knowledge. As you guys know, I'm just a voracious learner and I care about the people.
Caitlyn Jenner would be a really good one too. Yeah, good point.
I have questions. Well, the thing that I didn't appreciate is just how crazy and insulting and like just insane people got because I dared to be a social democrat and not a full-blown socialist. And so to some people I was called a class traitor, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand what Hasan would even criticize Ethan for. Wouldn't Hasan just agree and just say it was a semantical disagreement? I mean, Ethan's basically for the Nordic model. He's for increased taxes. He's for socialized healthcare. He's for a bunch of shit. So I'm not understanding, like, what would there even be disagreement on? Just the word, like, capitalism.
Class traitor. Yeah, I'm going to do it on Thursday. I'll do it on Thursday. But I have a lot of questions for Hasan and Dan about why, socialism is so much better than social democracy, right? Because I'm not super convinced, but I'd like to have a further conversation about it. Because the thing is, I don't know a lot. Obviously, Dan and Hasan have more knowledge than me. So
that's certainly incorrect, at least about Dan. I don't know what you're talking about. I think that the biggest thing for me was when there was the introduction of the question about like what it looks like under communism in some capacity, and like Dan just couldn't really answer. He didn't really have an answer for it. I don't think that Dan is much more educated on it, but fuck me, who am I? Hasan said he wouldn't want to talk to Ethan about capitalism because it's against Ethan's best interests. That doesn't make any sense. That just feels like a cop out. Hasan saying that he doesn't want to talk to Ethan about this because it's not in Ethan's best interest, it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's the same argument people use against Hasan to say, like, oh, you're a fake socialist or you're a fake communist or whatever because you're rich. How does saying he's not willing to talk to his own friend about a capitalism debate, how is that not the same argument everybody else uses against him? Oh, it's not. It's against your best interests. So I can't have this conversation with you because you're just going to disagree. It just sets the stage to be like, oh, Ethan will never be able to engage honestly in this debate because he benefits from the system, but so does Hasan. So by this logic, like Hasan, look, it doesn't make any sense. If anything, he should be like, yeah, it's my friend. I'll have the conversation with him. That doesn't even make sense. I feel like he just doesn't want to do it because he's lazy. There's no way. That's such a dishonest thing to say. That's the same argument that like Ben Shapiro uses against Hasan to say Hasan can't be a real like socialist or a real whatever. Okay.
I've been reading a lot and learning a lot about the conversation so that I can better represent myself and understand their arguments better as well. I don't know why people got so upset, though. I felt that was super inappropriate and lame. Just so stupid. Like, if I'm not radical enough for you, then you've got no allies. Zero. You have zero allies. 95% of the country is not more radical than me. I guarantee that. Anyway, I look forward to having that conversation on Thursday. It's not even, someone said, how dare you have a different political opinion, though. It's not even really that different.
No, it's not.
The only difference comes down to like democratizing all workplaces or socializing all workplaces.
Right, that was the question. It's like, hey, what does it look like to have like the workers own the means of production? And that question couldn't be answered. And it's like, well, that's a big question to answer if you want that to happen. I'm not against workers necessarily getting a percentage of like like the workplace earnings. I don't think that's a bad idea. But I don't think that everybody is equipped to have a say in everything that goes on in a workplace. To say union wise, that's different. That's the problem, is that that was the perspective from Dan, and this is why I don't think he's particularly informed on it. It's because he said like, oh well, workers want to like own the means of production, and Ethan's like, well, what about unions? And Dan at first was like, no, that's not unions, and then he's like, oh no, wait, unions is like that. It's like, no, it's not. There's a difference between workers owning the means of production and workers having a union to advocate for them in their best interests. I believe in that. A union that says like, hey, you should treat the workers like this. But I don't believe that workers should, in some capacity have the ability to make pretty drastic decisions. And if you believe in you, like, why you say workers should own the means of production if you just mean unions? It doesn't even make, from an optics perspective, it doesn't even make sense to say that. So,
because like in my model government of social democracy, everybody's needs are provided for. Defending billionaires, you see, that's like someone said, defending billionaires and calling greed a mental condition was kind of weird.
To those points really quick. Like, for one, I mean, listen, I disagree. I don't think anybody should be a billionaire if we have people that are homeless on the street. I think Ethan's point is that like he thinks that some people can be billionaires ethically. I don't really think it matters, because again, his overall point seems to be everybody should have their needs met, but he thinks that there can be ethical billionaires. I don't really care. As far as greed being a mental condition, I think that the people are fundamentally selfish. You can condition them against that, but for the most part, like, it's okay to be a little bit selfish. And so the concept of and you should be a little bit selfish, to be honest with you. We should all be a little bit selfish. We should all, that's called advocating for yourself. You know what I mean? If you have $20 left and somebody asks you for $20 and you give it to them, you should have been more selfish, right? The thing is that the people need an incentivized program, which is why I like some kind of a system that rewards some people that are more harder working and or better for the society. Like, for instance, if you have the ability and capacity to become a doctor, you should get paid more than somebody who does fast food. I think people who do fast food should have a quality of life, like, should have their needs met. But how does communism deal with that? And if there's a way for it to be dealt with, that's perfectly fine. But the problem is every time I asked historically, when I was really into politics, I talked to a communist, I'd always ask them, like, how does your system work out? And they give you the same answer. The answer is, that would be up for the society to decide. And it's like, if you can't give me, and I've never gotten an answer on how we would deal with that. Like, how would we pay doctors better or incentivize doctors? I'd never get an answer for that. And if you can't give me that answer, it becomes a little bit difficult. I need that answer. I need that to be satisfied. And so, like, that is a question that needs to be, how do you incentivize people to become doctors or to become this or become that or become something that is more beneficial to society than a non-doctor? We need a little bit more. So we never get those answers to that. And I think that's what he's speaking to, is selfishness. What is this clip?
Right. Yeah. Okay, so what if we ran companies that way?
Oh, yeah, I watched this
because
clip,
companies aren't democracies. They're totalitarian.
So how do you run a company? So first of all, usually how are companies made? Usually,
I would never talk to Ethan about this because this is the one aspect where it goes directly against his best interest.
Google,
right?
Made by a few entrepreneurs.
Like, I wouldn't debate Ethan on this front. I mean, obviously it's different for Dan because, like, Dan is he works with Ethan in a different way. But if I were to debate someone who is a business owner, friend or not friend, like, that's not a talking point that I would use, because that shuts you out of the combo aggressively.
What's kind of weird is that that's what you extrapolated from what I was saying. It's like people have these mental blocks, like these buzzwords that they hear, and they can't get past it. Like I said, I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. And so everything else I said about social democracy and everything is like completely forgotten. And all of a sudden I'm just like the fat railroad tycoon with cigars and my boot on workers' faces.
Yeah, because clearly the way he's dressed, he's a surfer, dude. Hang 10, brother.
I acknowledge the problems with capitalism. I acknowledge is the same. We both acknowledge the downfalls of capitalism. We come from the same spot there. I did not defend billionaires at all. Like, give me a fucking break. What I said was that I believe that it's possible for someone to earn $1 billion. It's possible in this world without being like a, you know, sociopathic sadist.
Yeah, I believe what he said was that he thinks that there could be an ethical billionaire. And again, I don't know if that's true, but I feel like based on all the other points, it's such an irrelevant aspect of the conversation. Like, it's so, that point is so irrelevant, but the main point is like applying healthcare and better tax brackets and ABCDXYZ first. So like that point is meaningless to me. Like it's at the tail end of the conversation where the head is trying to get people's basic needs met.
I don't know if it exists, but I do think it's possible to earn $1 billion. But that's it. We'll talk about this on Thursday.
Ethan really wants that as $1 billion.
But I have more to say about it. You know what I mean?
He wants his $1
billion. I'll
billion.
represent myself better than last time. Billionaires shouldn't exist. Yeah, right. I know a lot of people think that. And like, my goal is not for more billionaires to exist. You know what I mean? That's not like where I'm coming from. If you guys say I'm wrong, okay. Well, let's disagree on it. People say you cannot make $1 billion without being evil. What? But you guys, there's 300 million people in America and trillions of dollars of wealth. You can make a great product where your workers are treated well. Again, y'all don't want to make the distinction.
You probably could. I mean, you could theoretically make a great product where your workers are paid well. He's not wrong about that, but it depends on what it is. If your product doesn't require a lot of low-skill labor, then that just means that you wouldn't have to take advantage of that low-skill labor, which means it's probably a technology job where you can pay people well, but you've effectively automated away a bunch of jobs because you're using automation, or you haven't automated the way, but you haven't automated them away, but they have been automated away. You know, so in that case, you might pay everybody directly attached to you well, but that doesn't necessarily mean people aren't getting taken advantage of. That's just kind of how fundamentally everything works. You know, you can't touch anything in this world that hasn't been, where somebody hasn't been taking advantage of for some kind of a product. So
between $1 billion and 200 billion, that's fine. I'm just saying, you don't want to hear it from someone rich. Well, okay, I mean, it is what it is.
The problem with the argument of you don't want to hear from somebody rich is that they do. They want to hear it from Hasan. So they're not. This is the problem with Ethan's, like with the audience, is they are stinky little poopy boys. They do want to hear it from somebody rich. They want to hear it from Hasan. They don't want to hear a disagreement from anybody, and they're going to use whatever they can to assert that.
I'm not, dude. I don't give a fuck about billionaires. You know what I mean?
I love
billionaires. Are disgusting freaks.
Whoa!
I mean, they're all freaks, dude.
Well, how are you going to say that billionaires are all disgusting freaks, and then say that you can become an ethical billionaire? It doesn't make any sense.
and they're benefiting right now from a capitalistic cancer that doesn't work for anybody. That being said,
I could imagine if I was somebody that was like still trying to draw in the lines, and I heard Ethan say this, I would be confused. Like, wait, I just thought you said, because you know Ethan's audience is a bunch of scribble book people. I'm just fucking kidding. But what he's saying does conflict with his original messages a little bit.
Going to talk more about it on Thursday. But that's another thing. Like, I feel like people just get caught up where I said, I repeated this like taboo line, greed is good. I'm not saying greed is...
Yeah, so just to be clear, greed is excessive selfishness, Ethan, as pointed out by somebody in my chat before. As pointed out in one of my chatters. Okay, you fucking idiot. This is right. The person was right that said that.
I don't think everybody is motivated by greed. I think some people are motivated by greed.
I think everybody is motivated by greed to some capacity. I think that that's true. Or rather, I think everybody's motivated by some form of selfishness. It's just how you interpret what that means. Like, let's say you're a really nice guy and you walk around and you see homeless people, and you're just like, here's $1, homeless man, or here's $10, or it's like, hey, listen, like I go, like, listen, I don't have any cash on me. What do you want? And they'll go, oh, maybe the hot dog. I say, you want me to get you a beer? And they're like, yeah. Because listen, I'm not going to solve any of their fucking problems. If they want a beer, he's a grown ass man. I'm going to get him a beer. That being said, when you do nice stuff for other people, you don't just do it out of the kindness of your heart. You do it because it makes you feel good when you do a nice thing, right? And so you could argue that there's a level of selfishness in that capacity too.
greed. You know, I mean, people say, "Oh, there used to be Native American tribes where greed didn't exist." You're telling me no?
I doubt that. I think that's like a fantasy perspective on indigenous people. We took their land. I'm not saying that they're not victims of that, but the idea that they were altruistic individuals, probably not true. Let's just be real, okay? They were still human beings. So, you know.
Nobody there was selfish. And these like utopian Native American tribes.
Is this what they mean by billionaire speculates about Native Americans? You would call them indigenous Americans, by the way. Just, I mean, you fucking idiot liberals.
Nobody there took a little too much firewood for their family or a little too much food for their family. And everyone was all like, yo, this guy's selfish. You didn't think that there was no such thing as selfishness? Stop. Yeah, I'm going to do it on Thursday, though. But y'all need to chill the fuck out. Like, we're going to have this conversation, okay? And you're all just going to have to listen to it. Or not. I mean, if it bothers you, you definitely don't have to listen to it.
Just to be clear, apparently there's an indigenous spirit of greed. I think it's I think it's called the Wendigo or something. One reoccurring theme across these storytelling mediums is the use of a Wendigo, also spelled Wetiko, a monstrous figure who exhibits an insatiable amount of greed. If there is a allegory, if there is a spirit that represents greed in any society, that means that spirit is being used to tell a story, and that is a story of not being greedy. Anytime a society has a story about like a greedy monster, it's because they don't want people to be greedy. And we always have used storytelling as a way to communicate empathy to people and communicate things. So the fact that there is something in indigenous lore that is about not being greedy lets you know that there was greed in indigenous societies. Like, just to be clear. I don't think that's a hot take. You know?
Euler said inherent in human nature. I believe that if you take 10,000 people, there's going to be a percent of those people that are motivated by greed. That's it. It's just a fact. People are selfish. It's a defense mechanism. I mean, it's literally makes sense from a natural perspective of why you would want to be selfish and take more for your family. It's like, I'm going to have to look into some psychological research on that, because to me it seems silly to greed is taught. I mean, yeah, I see a lot of people saying that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, greed is taught. Everything is taught, but that doesn't mean that there's not a biological standard for it either. Like, just because there's a level of like part of greed is taught, because you can be taught to be more greedy, less greedy, or more greedy. It doesn't mean that there's not this inherent quality of greed that exists within people, right? And it doesn't mean that you could fully condition the greed out of a person either.
Sure that that's been proven at all. I don't think so. I'm gonna have to look into that though, because certainly that's something that I've seen a lot of people say. I'm gonna make a note. But yeah, we're not gonna talk about that now. But I can see in the chat that the same people are here, so
yeah,
we'll see about it. Anyway,
there's probably like a pretty good. All right. For Ethan, this is probably, there are resources that will educate people about like the conditioning of people to be more or less greedy. And like they're pretty easy. Like the problem is that Ethan just decided he didn't want to like do research on this topic, which is like ridiculous. But there is this thing right here. I've watched this before. I've taken a look at this. I've researched this before because I'm like pretty big into this. This is something for a while I had like this really big fixation on. So here, he could look at this.
I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck.
This is how I know.
That's not what it does.
Roll my dice. That is what it does. Pot of Greed. Draw 3. I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck. And I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck. Then I play Magic Force, which allows me to play Pot of Greed once again to draw 3 additional cards from my deck.
You know, he's right. And I attack and I win, right?
No.
You don't have any... Well, you don't have any monsters, and
Oh,
my
he's supposed to
monsters
be here.
have- What?
Oh, you got the Celtic Guardian.
My
numbers
turn.
are
I
bigger.
summon Dark Magician. I also summon Jack's Knight.
What? How? You can't
What are you
summon a bunch
doing?
of cards on one turn. It's against the rules.
You never saw this coming. I summon Pot of Greed to draw 3 additional cards from my deck.
That's not what it does. It doesn't
That
do
is
that.
what it does.
It doesn't. I
That's
put
That's
Michael
what.
Jordan
That's what it
in
do,
attack
Yugi.
position.
That does what it.
Okay, hopefully that's not DMCA. That's how I know greed is an inherent quality in society, but it can. This is a fucking stupid video.
You're trying to work out like lowering ticket prices. Sorry, socialists or capitalist pigs. I want to lower the ticket prices for the people. Greed is taught. I'm gonna look into that.
I feel like it's almost funny though that Ethan has never like engaged with the idea that selfishness can be taught in some capacity. Yeah, of course it can be.
I mean, maybe you're right. I'm open to having that conversation. But how y'all get so fucking defensive and crazy and like accusatory about it is to me just very silly. I don't know. Seems a little too much. But we'll move on. Thank you. Yeah, I've seen other people saying their communities are brigading. I don't. I mean, yeah, it's possible. It did feel a little out of character, just how like mad.
You know, if you think about it, the only actual good people are the people that bitch and moan and complain when they donate money. You know, the people that are like, oh, I'm going to donate money to these people. They're getting a sense of feeling good out of the donation of money. They're like, oh, here's $20. They feel so good about it. And they're like, here, have it, because it makes them feel better. And they probably don't need the money. So it's like, yeah, I feel better giving you this money. The people that are bitching and moaning about giving money, those are the people who are not greedy or selfish because they don't want to give it to you and they're still doing it. They're not getting a sense of satisfaction out of donating to you. They're actually hating it. They're getting angry, but they're still doing it. So really, if you think about it, the true non-greedy people are people who complain. So
Some people were getting, and the amount of like shit posting that was going on the subreddit. But Ethan, we're poor. I know. I'm so sorry.
Ethan, we're poor.
I'm so sorry to my poor fans. I'll shut it. I didn't think I did a great job because, again, I know I'm not super knowledgeable, so I'm trying to learn more and then have a more productive conversation about it. Someone said, is this sensitive topic? It's going to elicit strong reactions. Why wouldn't it have a huge reaction? That's fair. It's just the way that some people characterize me for just being a social democrat and not a full-blown socialist just seemed like a little far-fetched is all. But don't fucking stun lock me, okay? We're not here for this. But it certainly wasn't.
What is this, Ethan's like live stream or something? Like, is this like his members only or something?
It was an interesting episode. Hey, the nave sides were set up in a way not to have a surplus food and other materials. This made it so greed wasn't a thing. This was a way of life before capitalism. So
okay. There were like, how many tribes? I just don't think every tribe engaged in this altruistic way.
In these Native American tribes, nobody was selfish. There was never a disagreement about somebody taking a little too much of something. It never happened.
Of course there was.
Now, I'm not saying the society wasn't set up like in a really beautiful,
I just love the title is it speculates about Native Americans. Like, it's just such a it's trying so hard to make Ethan look like a piece of shit. Oh my god. It's so funny, but
altruistic way. I'm just saying, I'm motherfucking right about that shit, boy. You know I'm right, bro. Y'all been on the playground and some kid tries to pull some shit with the Pokemon cards? Come on.
Drew, I was that kid.
You know what I'm saying? You should chat with Professor Richard Wolf. That's so funny. We have had him on Leftovers. I like Richard Wolf. I sought him out, invited him on the show.
Richard Cock.
I know he's like a communist. And I like he's super smart and knowledgeable and educated. And I like him, frankly.
Richard.
And I invited him on the show to have a conversation about it. I mean, I'm having a conversation with my employees on a...
of course, there was greed. They had wars and fought over territory just like everybody else, which is literally greed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fighting over territory is greed,
live show about socialism. I mean, come on, y'all. Give me a
At
break.
least one of those factions was trying to take over something, some kind of land grab, so at least one of them was greedy. You know?
And basically, the Native Americans were like, I am rectangular. I feel it in my soul.
I fucking hate that this is a meme. Because I know what he's referring to. It's like this weird CEO that does music on TikTok with green hair. It's so ridiculous.
Rectangular. I have no holes. You know, you should talk to the half human, half horse live streamer Vosh about market socialism. He's not a pro-China lefty like Hasan. I'll get to that. I have a lot to learn on my own. You know what I mean?
I don't think he'll get to that. I don't think that he really has an interest in associating with Hasan. But, you know.
And that's what I'm focused on right now. Is then because I want to have
This is going to be stuck in my head, this rectangular bullshit. This is making me so mad.
proper conversation about it. Son said he never have that conversation with you because it's against your best interest. Whatever. I mean, that's kind of insulting to me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm avoiding the conversation because it's against my interests. I mean, that's silly. I seem pretty eager to have the conversation. Please remember, your audience skews very young. They speak in generalities from their own anecdotal experience as laborers. Your opinion is well thought out and nuanced. Social democracy could be great for laborers. My opinion is not well nuanced and thought out just because I don't know enough for it to be well nuanced and thought out, but I'm working on it. I'm working on making it better. But I also believe that social democracy...
I mean, yeah, it's, hey, we should have more taxes and people should have more of their basic needs met. It's not like a hot take. We see other models of the world doing this. We know we can do it, you know what I mean?
is great for work.
Yeah, Ethan and Vosh could have a new podcast. Say they can name it Horsecock or something. That might be pretty cool. They can name it Horsecock.
Workers. Yeah.
They could name it There's No Moral Argument Against Child Porn. Oh, Jesus Christ. What a fucking world we live in. What a world we live in. It's what a fucking crazy time.
You know, like,
Holy
that's
moly.
the whole goal. That's the whole expression of it, is to be good for workers. But I'm a bit behind. Was saying you're arguing so... Oh, really? You're trying to get me still, Napoleon?
Oh, the joke is that Vosh once said that in a debate. Just so you know that. Yeah, that's what happens when you get a little too debate-brained.
I was saying you're arguing social democracy against...
Gotta explain everything so I don't get clipped out of context. Oh my lord, you fucking goblins.
Communist, Marxist, not socialism. That's not... No, that's not true. I don't think it's true. We'll get to the bottom of it, though, on Thursday. Don't push. Napoleon, don't push. Larry David was so angry and offended over Elon Musk. He reportedly confronted him. Do you just want to murder
It's Larry David.
kids in schools? No, I'm anti...
What does it say, Larry?
Anti-kid murder, Musk responded. How could you vote Republican? Dude, Larry David is the fucking goat of all goats. This man does not miss. Okay, you want to talk about ethical billionaires? Larry David is damn near a billionaire. Dude is worth $500 million.
Well, just to be clear, I love Larry David. I think he's funny. Just because he's a nice guy doesn't make him an ethical billionaire. Just to be clear.
Syndication of Seinfeld earned David $250 million in 1998 alone. Do you see what I'm saying? Larry David is not a bad dude. He just wrote a fucking 2 amazing shows, and people love it, and they watch it a ton. This man made $250 million in 1 year from syndication. Come on, you know what I mean? Sure. That's my point. So if a billion's too much, then where are we saying? Is it 900 million? Is it 800 million? 700? 500 million? Larry David is not a bad guy. You know what I mean? Sorry. I dare you to try to refute that. I dare you. Does he need $1 billion? No, I don't know what Larry David does with his money.
Well,
I'm just
I don't
saying,
think it matters what he does with his money. He still doesn't need $1 billion, but okay. It doesn't matter.
He didn't fuck anyone over. He just wrote a comedy show. He did do a crypto ad, that's true. But I'm not gonna take his whole career away from him for that. That was probably just bad advice he got from his agent or manager. I know how much $1 billion is. I understand. Larry did not...
guys, $1 billion is 1,000 millions. Isn't that fucking crazy? Could you imagine just having $1 million? Fucking everything will be great. Really don't need billionaires. You know what I mean? Maybe 100 millionaires or so, but billionaires seems unnecessary.
The 17-year-old, that was Jerry Seinfeld. Larry has never committed a wrong in his life.
True.
If y'all want to
every wrong that he's committed, he talks about on his show. It's always when he's just being fucking ridiculous.
His entire career in life because he did a crypto ad. That's your position, not mine. Dude, Larry's a man of the people. You think he doesn't support SAG? He's a writer. That's how he got his money. He's a writer. Larry David did also make Holocaust jokes. So have I. He's Jewish.
He made Holocaust jokes. Holy shit. I love it. This is fun. What an audience. Holy shit.
Larry.
Bro, it reminds me of, I did a video with my wife on the Rob and Dan channel. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. It's called the Rob and Dan channel. There's this thing called the Rob and Dan channel. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but we have a TikTok that we've been posting on. It's been slowly growing. Last time we checked in, it was at 66 followers, 130 now. Incredible stuff. But there's one video that went really viral. Well, this one did too.
Do you think that pigeons are real?
Well, that one did pretty well. Anyway, not important. As I scroll down, it's at 54,000 now. It was at like 34 last night.
There's no one.
And at a certain point, I make a joke about it being gay to cry at your own wedding.
You laugh.
Well, you don't think so?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Marriage is something I take.
I cried when I told you my vows. This is the joke.
I'm not gay,
But I cried.
So stupid.
I made this joke, and then my audience had a fucking meltdown. Since when is crying? You see this in the corner? Since when is crying gay? Shaking my head. There's a whole debate about it. Some people were like, he's joking, which is true. But someone's like, it's still toxic. Why wouldn't he cry at his own wedding? I did cry at my own wedding, you fucking idiot. Like people are saying, hey, it's a joke, but the most likes are people like shitting on me for saying it's gay. Right? Oh, look, this person actually said LMFAO. Okay, thank God. You lost me with the not gay part. I'm not gay, man. Shut up. You shut up! It's a joke! I am gay! Sorry. I got a little heated there. Just got a little bit upset. My point is, man, some people just can't take a goddamn joke. Some people just can't take a goddamn joke. And it's frustrating.
Larry David is the greatest dude I've ever known. I can't wait for tomorrow when I'll meet Larry David. Larry David.
Is he really meeting him?
It is the coolest. He bitched Elon Musk out to his face. Y'all trying to hate on Larry David, but you just
Larry
missed.
Dingle.
Love that story. Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old. Larry David has not done that. We're not talking about Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld dated a 17-year-old. It's super fucking weird and gross.
True. We gotta legislate against those creepy men. We gotta make the age of consent lower. Because there's so many men that'll be like, oh, especially grown men. You know what I mean? You know, I understand if you're in your low 20s and you date somebody that's like 17, it's so weird. But like, I get it, you're still a dumb kid in some capacity. But like a fucking grown man dating a 17-year-old, like, we really need to legislate against that. Because there obviously are men who somehow are like, yeah, you know, I know that they were in significantly different places and I could easily take advantage of this person, but fuck it. They're probably thinking that too. I'm going to butt fuck them, you know? Very inappropriate joke. But we do need, some men are gross, so.
And disturbing and weird. Like, people were cool with it at the time. No, we're hating on you. Okay, first of all, this is the dumbest thing. Ethan keeps defending billionaires because he feels he could become one day.
True.
You're gotta be kidding yourself.
True. It's true.
No. What path do I have to becoming a billionaire? I don't give a fuck about becoming a billionaire. I'm just trying to engage with these arguments honestly. That's it, you know? Larry David is not buddies with RFK Jr. He took one picture together with him because his co-star, Cheryl, is his wife. Come on. Stop trying to make Larry look bad. It's not going to happen. I've seen so many people say that, though. Ethan wants to be a billionaire. That's why he's doing it. Shut up.
Yeah, I don't want to be a billionaire. I would like to be a couple of 100,000 heir. You know what I mean? That's it. A couple 100,000. You know, if I think for me, I would fucking peak if I could make $250,000 a year. I would be like, wow, this is incredible. I'm living life to the fullest at that amount. Pay off all my bills, get a nice car, live in a decent house, be able to raise my kids stress-free. Who the fuck needs millions of dollars Just give me like a quarter. Give me a fifth of $1 million. You know what I mean? That's my goal. That'd be incredible. Oh, we're going to raise your taxes. You're going to have to pay half of that in tax. Good. I don't care. $250,000. I get out with $125K a year. What? That's wild. Done. Easy fucking peasy, baby.
I don't care about $1 billion. How's that ever going to happen? All right, I'm not going to get stun-locked anymore. Not at the rate I keep paying for people's vet bills. I ain't becoming a billionaire. Hey, fuckers.
Normal. So my dad took...
Hey,
wait, vet bills? Are you saying like dog? Because here's my thing. I don't know if you guys have ever heard my take on dogs before. Just eat them. Fuck it. Bury them in the ground and make more oil. Hey, move over, dinosaur gasoline. Here comes dog fuel. That's what we really need to do. Bury him. Done. Easy.
Trying to diss Larry. Vanity Fair article from June 13th. Larry David wants to make it absolute clear he does not support RFK Jr.
I'm not going to get stun locked.
Jr.'s presidential campaign. Suck it. Larry doesn't miss ever.
Dude,
Larry is our ethical billionaire.
Can I just say what's incredible is I have to poop. I took the largest shit I've ever taken in my entire life. Like, it was super huge. I didn't even think it was going to flush. That's how bad it was. And I still have to go. I don't know where I'm getting the room in my body. I didn't know that I had so much fucking real estate in me. I should just move into my fucking colon at this point. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. I don't even know how to compare it. I mean, it looked like thick black vacuum cleaner hose curled up into itself. It was wild. Same consistency. You know? It's wild.
Odd. Period. Facts. He's the man.
Facts.
He really doesn't miss. I'm going to tell Dan to include that too. Larry David claimed. This is awesome. Larry David doesn't think Woody Allen did anything wrong after reading. Wait.
Didn't he like? Didn't he try to like? Well, I guess you'd say, didn't he like groom his like stepdaughter or something? Like, I'm not 100% educated.
Hold on. Larry David doesn't think Woody Allen did anything wrong after reading his controversial memoir. He did not say that. He didn't say that. Fantastic book, he said. You feel like you're in a room with him, and yeah, it's a great book. It's hard to walk away after reading that book thinking that this guy did anything wrong. Oh, brother, no. While it's not clear if David knew he had been accused of molesting his own daughter, how could he not know that? That's something.
Wouldn't that be part of the book? Yeah, chapter 4, molesting my own daughter. I adopted her and then put her into a situation where she couldn't say no. I don't know the specifics, but that's what it sounds like.
I'd like to ask Larry David about. Can't say I love that. Yeah, I remember when he was in the Woody Allen book. It was horrible. It was so bad. Well, that's got nothing to do with his wealth.
Yeah, but right? Did you remember when Ethan supported death noodles? You can't blame him for every bad thing he's done in his life, you know?
Dude, there's got to be more to this story, you guys. This has got to be a misquote or something, you know? Fame is fleeting. I mean, there's no question about it. Everything is, though. Everything's fleeting, you guys. Doesn't matter for...
Oh, what is this, the Jojo Siwa video that he's about to engage with?
Socialist or capitalist. Because in a million years, this planet's probably going to just be dust. You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you might as well say, fuck it to global warming. Just fuck around and not give a darn, you know?
Firms eating our decaying bodies care for socialists or capitalists. Stop complaining. Okay? Let's forget about the Larry David stuff. About the Woody Allen. Let's just rewind to before I pulled that up. This is disturbing, bro. I hate it. They are being paid. And second of all, look at that $1 billion smile, though. I'm not sure I want it anymore after seeing that.
Funny end.